Oh, you're such. He's like, when.
Your president. Major uproar all over social media about Latin people rallying for unification between, not talking about the whites today, and a few sprinkle of the black people that voted. Fine. Let's look at before the elections what your stance was. Before we do that, guys, click a like. By God, this cannot be serious.
Welcome to the Daily Read, and I am your host, Marcus Gentry. That laugh of Vice President Kamala Harris was diabolical. We're going to get into today's show. We're talking about immigration and the mass deportation of it. I'm more concerned about the kids that are being separated. Will they have ways of reuniting them? Because the children don't have to be deported. Let's get this straight. The children are United States citizens, okay? And are they keeping up with the parents, even if they send the parents back? That's my only concern. Those people are bigots. They come here with a sense of entitlement, because let's not get this mistaken, people. Donald Trump doesn't want Mexicans or blacks coming into this country. I did a show about this not too long ago, how the people that's running this country are white people, but they're not the slave masters. I did a whole show on that. And to recap the show, I'm not going to go into full details, but to recap the show, I was basically talking about how during the Great Depression, a lot of those old families that had plantations and titles and things like that, a lot of those old families basically went out of business. The Great Depression wiped a lot of them out. The people who came here as German immigrants, Switzerland immigrants, Italian immigrants, Jewish immigrants, those are the people that's running this country now. There's a fear that the Mexicans in the next 50 years are going to do the same thing and take over this country, just like the whites did, who were in the slums when they came here seeking asylum. But I'm not going to talk about that. That's on another show. You got to find it, watch it. I go into a little more detail on how we had certain time periods in this country where other whites have come in and they have taken over. But I want to react to this woman's video because it's rather funny, but it's not funny. It's hilarious, and you're going to enjoy the show. We're talking about the mass deportation that's going on and how the immigrants some kind of way want us blacks to stand up for them when a lot of them come here as bigots. A lot of them come here as white Mexicans. There is a difference between natural Mexicans, which are darker skinned, and the lighter skinned European Mexicans. The light skinned European Mexicans and Colombians and that can pass for white, those are the ones that's coming here. They're fleeing their country and they're coming here because their skin tone can help them blend in with white people. Let's get into the show.
The Daily Read, your source for news, politics, sports, and all things trending. Here's your host, Marcus Gentry.
That's where I want to focus today. So while we have brothers who are unemployable because of whatever, you know, they are on the street corner smoking crack cocaine or trying to sell some dope, or the ones who want to work, but these jobs are not given to them because it's gotten to a point where within the construction industry itself, some of the Latinos are in hiring positions. And we know when a Latino gets into a hiring position in any industry in America, they don't hire black folk. When Latinos get into hiring positions in any industry in America, they do not hire African Americans. I know this for a fact because I have a lot of friends who are Latinos and I have a lot of my African American cousins. Some of them who wanted to go into construction. It's not because the brothers don't want to work.
I'm gonna stop that right there. What this man is speaking is facts. I worked in the construction industry for about 7 years, driving trucks, and I've seen whole crews of Mexicans all throughout the industry, and they're building everything from houses to high-rise buildings. And you might see one, maybe two blacks, not because they don't want to work there, but because the white supervisor usually has a white sub-supervisor under him or a black sub-supervisor, and the whole crew is Mexican. These are high-paying jobs. They're good jobs. They're hard-working jobs, but they're good jobs. And what he's saying is correct. A lot of these brothers, man, can't get in the industry. Like in the oil field, when I worked in the oil field in North Dakota, you saw a lot of Mexicans out there too. These are European Mexicans. These are the taller, lighter skinned Mexicans that can pass for white people. Let's continue on.
Trump isn't bluffing, is he?
This is funny. This is funny right here.
There were two guys on a horse trying to capture me. It was weird. Don't let that white guilt fuck up that joke. Just fucking laugh through it. It's a slavery joke. Fucking go through it. He's rolling back a lot of shit. A lot. You know?
And Donald Trump is rolling back a lot of stuff. And I don't know what made them think in their mind that if they get rid of the immigrants, blacks are going to go back into the field and start doing farm work. So at the end of the show, I'm going to demonstrate to you what type of people they're trying to bring into America.
All my Latin friends, oh, you're such fools. There's a fantastic video of Cubans celebrating Donald Trump. Oh, yeah. Have you seen it? They have the MAGA hats, and they're playing the congas. It's like fucking...
Look at these people. Look at these people. Everybody in this picture can pass for a white person. But when you go to their country, you'll see a lot of darker skinned, almost black Cubans and Mexicans and stuff like that. These people were already on the bigoted side before they left their country. So they came here thinking they can blend in with white people.
Donald Trump es mi favorito presidente número uno. I'm telling you, it's fantastic. And I love salsa. And they're jamming. It was like MAGA, 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 MAGA. MAGA almost sounds Spanish. MAGA, MAGA. A couple days ago, they're like, what's wrong with that?
It's crazy.
But I love you, Donald Trump. He's like, buenos dias. Muy malo.
Hold up. This is crazy. This is outrageous. Diabolical.
Cucaracha. I'm so sorry. Muy malo. Adios, amigos. Buenos tardes. Goodbye, anything with an O is Spanish. We're taking it away.
You're Latinos for Trump. Now that you see that your master is going against your own interests, such as we've been warning you for the past couple of years or so. Now you want to come back and unite? Oh, we have to unite with each other. Fuck you. Go to your master, get back on your knees, and assume the position.
It's me.
I had that guy right there. He's pissed. You can look at his face and tell he's pissed. And he's Spanish, but he can go for a white guy. But I can tell he's a Hispanic. A lot of them come here, and you got to understand that a lot of them people come here and blend in well with whites. But the paperwork is off. You're not from here. And they come here waving their country's flags. It's almost this is so diabolical. You gotta understand, people. When I see the pattern in this, I'm trying to tell you that they don't give a damn about the illegal immigration part of it. They need the work. They need the workers to pluck oranges, to build houses. They're concerned about power. Am I getting through to somebody? This is about power. The people that's running the government today are the immigrants of yesterday. The white plantation people have blended in with those people. The white plantation people that brought us here as slaves, they're in the slums in trailer parks just next to us. They don't have a damn thing. And they don't have power neither. They still got a few racist beliefs. But them people don't have no money. They don't have no power. The Great Depression wiped a lot of them out. You got to go back and look at the history. They don't want the same thing happening to them. That's why they get rid of these Mexicans and Hispanics. Because what do? They come here in groups. They live in one house. About 5 families living in one house. And within a matter of 2 to 3 years, each of those family members has their own house. Each of those families have their own house. They got a big dually truck sitting in front of the yard. They got a construction business. They're coming up too fast. Is anybody listening to what I'm saying? These people are coming up too fast. And the reason why a lot of blacks don't like it is because we've been here since the beginning. Whites ain't worried about us because other blacks are keeping other blacks down. We'll give a certain amount of blacks, a couple of million, make you famous, put you in movies, put you on CDs, make your music, you can advertise our liquor for us, but you got to suppress the rest of them. You can't do that to the Mexicans. They come here with a game plan. Their game plan is to put a foothold in America, start their own communities, speak their own language, wave their own flags, and rise up through the ranks. They, in many communities, the Hispanic communities have surpassed the blacks. In many communities. The white people that's running the country today are trying to get rid of these people. They see danger. They have. I'm gonna explain to you what I learned a while back. I think I learned this at Beaumont. I was in Beaumont, Texas, and I read a book about think tanks. Think tanks are these institutions that the government funds to look ahead. Okay? They make scenarios. What would happen if the atomic bomb dropped in America? What would we do? What would happen if we invade Germany? What would we do? What would happen if a certain amount of the population gains a certain amount of wealth over another population? These people in government have think tanks that think about this stuff. I don't know if y'all remember when they had the nightclub shooting down in Florida. A man went in there and shot and killed a whole bunch of gay people in a nightclub in Florida. They came out with the numbers within 2 days of a rise in homosexuals buying weapons. Listen to what I just said. The think tanks are so serious, they had the numbers of an uptick in homosexuals buying guns after that shooting. How? Ask yourself this question. How did they know this? It's simple. They keep track of the numbers. And the numbers with these Hispanics are alarming. Understand what I'm saying? The numbers with the Hispanics are alarming. It don't only have white people shook, it got black people shook. That's another reason why black people have stepped back. Like, man, take them out the country. Get rid of them. Because in many of these communities, these Hispanics that came in and propped down their flag, and they don't want blacks in there. In Chicago, LA, Seattle, certain communities in Miami, they don't want blacks in there. They'll deal with white people, but they don't want blacks in there. And will chase you up out of there. Will jump on you. You got to understand where this is going. They seeing into the future 10, 20, 30 years. The think tanks, they call them the think tanks. Every government, I'm pretty sure, almost every government, unless it's a fledgling government, but almost every government has a think tank. These are smart, intelligent men and women who have crunched the numbers. And the things that they're seeing is alarming. They don't give a damn about no illegal immigration because the people that's running the country are immigrants. They just don't want these people to take their spot just like they took the plantation owner spot. Look at Marco Rubio sitting in Congress. He passing for white. Marco Rubio ain't white. He's a Hispanic. But he can pass for white. Now just think about how thousands of Hispanics come here, raise their kids here, and push their kids into government. It's a total takeover. And the reason why blacks is concerned, because we've allowed the gatekeepers, I call them Mr. and Mrs. Bojangles, the black gatekeepers have kept us down so long to keep us from making wealth for the white people. Listen carefully. They are alarmed because they spent their lives making money, making millions, and suppressing other blacks, and then they look up and they see all these Hispanics lifting each other up, starting businesses, and all of these black gatekeepers are like, hold on, what the fuck is going on? We've been suppressing our people for your people, and then y'all let all these Mexicans come in here and blow up the spot. This is what's going on in this country. Let's get back into it.
Major uproar all over social media about Latin people rallying for unification between the Latin people and the black people to help them fight against this whole ICE war that Trump started. We told your asses on, what was it, November 5th, to go in that ballot box and not vote for Trump. Why did you think you were exempt? I'm not talking about the whites today and a few sprinkle of the black people that voted, because, you know, we already knew about them and whatever, but you...
That sprinkle of black she's talking about, I'm gonna stop her right there. That sprinkle of black she's talking about are the gatekeepers. She already knew there's gonna be a few of them vote for Trump. Those are the gatekeepers she's talking about. But the gatekeepers are shocked because you guys have been suppressing other minorities for decades. Everything from the movie industry to the music industry. Everything. Suppressing other blacks for decades while you rake in the dough. And now you turn around and all of these Hispanics are starting businesses, having whole communities. That's what she's talking about.
You guys, you wanted this with your full chest. I've seen a lot of people making videos, and I was like, listen, let me give my 2 cents. Because if you are confused as to why we just not unify with you guys, you said you were sorry, why don't we just unify? Let's look at, before the elections, what your stance was. Before we do that, guys, click a like, click a subscribe for your girl. We're back today. Let's go.
Well, what I think about Kamala is very simple. What she's an expert on, okay?
Putting people in jail is a problem.
She's gonna put the country, she's a businesswoman.
No.
What she know how to do? She's gonna make it, she's trying to do an experiment. Okay, we're gonna be there. And the experiment, she's gonna try her poop. And then she's gonna put the whole country in there. And then she's gonna do what she does best. That is
Put people in jail.
put people in jail. So she only knows how to put people in jail. What do you expect?
And can you imagine, guys? You are asking us to help you in the deportation mess. Kamala is going to be put, she's going to put you in jail.
Fuck around and find out.
Paris laugh is diabolical. She put that shit in there. That's crazy. That is a diabolical laugh.
My God, this cannot be serious.
Where are you from?
I'm from Colombia.
Colombia. And is this a setup? Did I ever meet you before? Huh?
I'm Hispanic and I vote for Mr. Trump. We vote for Mr. Trump. Yes, Mr. Trump. We love it.
That lady right there probably already done got deported. She probably already on the bus, on the plane. She probably already gone.
We love you. On the way to the White House.
I sure did. I voted for Trump. And I'm Latina, half Mexican, half Guatemalan.
Remember this, guys, when you went full salsa mode on us. When you won.
Trump wins record Hispanic support in this 2024 election to help President Trump back to the White House. Those Latinos, we showed up for President Trump and we delivered President Trump. Everybody delivered. We all support you because you are a president for all Americans in this country.
President for all Americans of this country, guys. We delivered. You delivered, all right. You delivered yourself back to your own country.
I mean what I said.
That's crazy.
How you feel, no me importa cómo te sientas. If you voted for Trump, rest in peace, paz en paz.
How are you guys handling this? Because I can't. Like, they are hunting us down like animals.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you don't listen to black women or people of color to say, don't vote for this man. Just because you look like his skin color, do not vote for this fucking man. And here we are. Yeah, they're hunting all of us down like fucking animals because that's what they see us as animals. And you want to come out here crying and complaining. That's the problem. Is everyone was fucking light-skinned Latino or whatever the fucking case may be. Not that y'all would get a free pass just because you guys were light-skinned enough, but y'all definitely were white-skinned enough, and that's the problem. You really thought they had your fucking best interests at heart, and they're not. And it's fucking embarrassing that this country is literally building itself on literally racism. That's what this country is now. It's no longer home of the free, land of the brave. It's land of the racists and land of the white-hooded people who want to go and control every goddamn thing. Literally, that's all it is. So don't jump on here crying and complaining saying, are you guys okay with this? Of course we're not fucking okay with it. But this is the consequences of your guys' fucking actions. And it's fucking disappointing. Because every goddamn time, it never fucking fails. The people that are light-skinned enough always fucking think they're white-skinned enough to go ahead and pass. And the people that are pissed off when they read this fucking video and be like, what do you mean white? The people who are white already know that I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the racist motherfuckers in this goddamn country.
Did you guys do your homework when this whole ballot dropped? Did you look at the deportation part? For the people that constantly ask, how do we handle this? We wanted to tell you this, because we've been handling that for 400 years. Racism, this is what black people go through every day.
Every day. Every day. And the difference is, we can't get deported. But, I will tell you this. The passport bros stock just went up because a lot of people don't like this country, but they like the money. The dollar bill is one of the strongest currencies in the world. So a lot of black men and white men are deciding to pick up their shit, take their resources and go to another country. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because a lot of those people come here for the dollar. They don't come here for you or me, they come here for the dollar. So, passport bros, your stock just went up.
Being followed around, talked to any type of way. But you're white. So at some point we thought you were exempt. You sold it to us. We are not your undo button. You cannot undo this. We cannot help you. All the Cubans from Cuba come down and help your ass. We might fall in line. We might. But as for now, you told us you were white. You're president. President! What a nice man.
Cubans tomorrow and I wouldn't care, as long as my life is better and my peers are enjoying their life as well.
You hear what she said? This woman looks white, don't she? I can tell by her eyes and her jawline that she's of either Mexican descent, Guatemalan descent, or some kind of Cuban or Honduras. She's a Hispanic, and she just got through telling the world she don't care nothing about them people getting deported. What she don't realize is once they get all the illegals, they coming for her too. They coming for her too, because she probably has one of those work visas or school visas that's keeping her here. And if she was born here and her parents are from over there, they're coming for her parents. And what that's gonna make her do when they come for her parents, she gonna be out in the street protesting. She gonna be catching flights back over there to her original country to see about her parents. And she's going to wind up staying over there with her parents.
Well, now they're finding out the hard truth. Voting for racism doesn't protect you from it. You can bleach your signs, sing his name, and try to blend in. But at the end of the day, if you're not who he wants, you're not safe. They thought being almost white would save them. But now they're packing bags for the very countries they risked everything to escape.
Look, when you come from Cuba, you are presumed to be for fleeing political persecution.
Now pay close attention to this, people. This is Marco Rubio. This is the Hispanic guy I was telling you about in Congress that can pass for white. This is what they fear. They fear more guys like him coming up through the ranks and taking over this country like they did. You see, the Italians, I'm going to say it again, the Italians, the Italian whites, the Jewish whites, the German whites, the English whites, a lot of them came here and wasn't a part of slavery. A lot of them came here across Ellis Island. Their great-great-grandfathers did. Once the Depression hit, all of those poor whites that came here across on the boats, they were in a position to take over this country. Let me go into a little more detail for those of you who don't want to go back and scour through my playlist and find the other show. The reason why a lot of these Italian whites and German whites and Jewish whites was in positions to take over this country is because they already formed mobs. They already formed communities where the communities were taking care of each other. They were already sending their kids to school to be doctors. They were already sending their kids to school to be lawyers. That's what the mob did. The mafia back in the 30s and 40s, they might have 3 or 4 kids. One of their sons might go into the mob, but the other son might become a lawyer. The daughter might become a doctor. You understand how this works? You see, a lot of us black gang members, a lot of us blacks that's been in gangs and been around this stuff, we took the whole gang life from the mob. But the lessons we didn't take from them is you gotta separate it. Once you do your dirt in the streets, you gotta turn it around and send your children to college with that money. You gotta put your kids in position to get into Congress with that money. We took all the bad shit from the mob, from the Italian mob, the Jewish mob, the German mob. We took all the bad shit from the mob, but we didn't take the good lessons. And the reason why we didn't take the good lessons is because they gave us gatekeepers. It's tragic. Let's continue on.
So you automatically are eligible for refugee cash. You're eligible for food stamps. You're eligible for Medicare, Medicaid. Others who immigrate to this country have to wait 5 years for those and don't get the refugee cash. But within a year, depending on your parole, you can apply for a green card. And then you can travel back to Cuba as often as you want. Multiple times. You can take cash. You can buy stuff with the food stamps. I've seen it. Okay, this is not, I didn't read this in a magazine. I've seen it. They use the food stamps, they fill up these bags, and they take it back to Cuba over there. Or they just transfer cash back. Some people go back to Cuba for 3 months at a time. They've been here a year. How, if you were fleeing persecution, how can it be that a year later you were spending summers in Cuba? How can it be that less than a year later you're traveling back 6, 8 times a year to Cuba? I've never heard of people fleeing persecution going back to a place repeatedly. There's an issue here, is there not?
And they got
that's facts. I don't agree with Marco Rubio on a lot of things, but what he said right there is facts. If you're fleeing from a country wanting to come here to get American dollars, you know, some of these people be lying. Let me tell you why a lot of these people are not fleeing persecution. Because a lot of these people, when they was in their country, they were already higher class people. Let me slow this down and explain it to my audience. A lot of the white Mexicans and white Cubans you see coming to America, white Venezuelans, back in their country they were white Venezuelans. Back in their country they were white Mexicans. Back in their country they were white Cubans. They sat at the top of the totem pole in their country. The darker skinned, halfway black Cubans, halfway black Mexicans, halfway black Venezuelans are on the lower end of the totem pole. So the people that's coming here talking about their fleeing persecution are the people that got the money. They're the white people of their country. I'm hoping somebody that's listening to my broadcast is understanding what I'm saying. The people that are coming here that Donald Trump is deporting, these people are already educated, some of them. They already have money to pay the mules. Y'all know what a mule is. If you don't know what a mule is, look it up. Okay? Well, actually, they're called coyotes. I met a coyote. A mule is let's tell you. Let me tell you the difference between a mule and a coyote. A mule carries drugs across the border. A coyote carries people across the border. There's a difference, okay? A lot of people just use the terminology mule, okay? So I'm trying not to confuse you. But I've met coyotes. These people get paid almost $1,000 a head. Listen to what I just said, people. A coyote I met in prison told me he got paid $1,200 a piece to carry 7 illegal immigrants into this country. $1,200 a head. What I'm trying to explain to you people is a lot of these illegal immigrants that's coming here are rich in their country. Their families paid mules. Well, I keep saying mules like everybody else. Their families paid coyotes to transport them to America. The ones you see crossing the border on the fence, those are poor Mexicans. But they got rich Mexicans that have blended into our society. The ones you see crossing that border, them people ain't got no money, so they gotta cross the border and risk life and death on their own. But the vast majority of the Mexicans that's illegal, that's already here, the white ones, they got money back at home. Their families got money. The Mexicans and the Venezuelans and the Cubans that can pass for white, them people are wealthy back at home. They just don't have American wealth. I'm hoping somebody understand what I'm saying.
Your ass even more when they say, come. For all the Latins that, came here legally, come and sign in, because there you don't have a problem. Now that all your names, they're getting your ass still. By God, if that ain't a savage move, I don't know what is.
To all the Latinos for Trump, specifically the Mexicans, the Mexican Americans, on this Mother's Day weekend, if you have an undocumented mom, I want you to look her straight in the eyes and tell her, Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Thank you for crossing the border and risking your life just so I could be born here, grow up, and be a freaking sellout and vote against you. Happy Mother's Day, Mom, and sorry for voting for a guy that wants you out of this country just because I wanted more money, just because of the economy. Happy Mother's Day, Mom, and let's hope you don't get deported.
You need to talk to your own people, the same people that you united with to make this all come true. I have a question. Why don't your own people come and get you back from Cuba? Why don't they protest and just come and get you back? Word on the curve is that they don't like your ass too. So you got a real problem going there. That's why you're so afraid.
Now, I'm gonna explain this to you again for people that's listening. Okay, for some of you on iHeartRadio that really can't see the show, understand what she just said. A lot of the white Venezuelans, a lot of the white Cubans, a lot of the white Mexicans that come here, a lot of them were wealthy bigots. Their own people don't like them. Listen what I said very carefully. They're not running from persecution. A lot of these people were the persecutors. A lot of these people were the bigots. Is anybody paying attention? A lot of these people came here with that already mentality that if you dark skinned, we don't like you, we don't want you around. They came here with that. If you ever seen, I had a Mexican friend named Negro. His name is Black. And I had one named Skinny. Flaco. Flaco and Negro were dark-skinned Mexicans. Short, 5'2", 5'3". They look almost as dark as me. And they will tell you, the taller, light-skinned, white, almost white Mexicans, they don't like them. The ones who stand about 5'11", 5'10", those Mexicans, this light-skinned, almost white, they don't like Negro. Negro hangs with the black people. Let's continue on.
The bus just keep it going, wilding out, crashing out.
Is for the Cubans for Trump, actually for all Latinos for Trump. The Supreme Court just revoked the legal status of 500,000 people from like Cuba, Haiti, Venezuela, I think, and somewhere else. So you guys better start packing your shit, because they're coming after you. They don't care that you voted for them. They never cared about you in the first place, dog. We tried to tell you this shit, but you didn't listen. So now they're coming after you. The Supreme Court just ruled on it. You guys better start packing, because they're gonna either leave on your own terms now at this point, or they're gonna come after you. You guys are in danger. And you voted for it. That's the crazy part.
Now, reports suggest that the first group of South African white Africans.
Now, this is a part of the show that I wanted to get all that Mexican stuff out the way, the Hispanic deportation stuff out the way. This is who they really want to come to America, because remember, we got think tanks in America. One of Ronald Reagan's think tanks told him that the minorities in this country would surpass white people in a matter of 50, 60 years. They've been working on this since Ronald Reagan. There was a famous meeting in the office. There was a white woman. I can't think of her name right now, but she said she was sitting in that meeting when the head of whatever agency that runs that think tank told Ronald Reagan the numbers. White women are getting more abortions. Blacks are spawning kids left and right. And in a matter of 50 to 100 years, whites are going to be the minority. That didn't sit well. So now, you add the Mexican and Hispanics on to the mix, you got problems. Because Mexicans have just as many kids as black people do. So now you got to get rid. You can't get rid of blacks. They're American citizens. But what you can do is you can lock them up for 15, 20 years to keep them from having kids, to keep them from building wealth. While you let the other white guy go that did the same crime that the black man did, you give him 2 years, give him probation, and let him go. So we can handle the black problem by taking the fathers out the household. We can't get rid of them because they're American citizens, but we can suppress them. You can't suppress the Mexicans, but you can get rid of them by deporting them. Now we finna get to the situation where who they really want in this country.
Americans are set to arrive in the United States this coming week. This comes as U.S. President Donald Trump's resettlement program officially kicks off. That's despite him halting all immigration plans in the country. Our Department of International Relations has noted this and called the declaration of the group as refugees as unfortunate and undermining South Africa's constitutional democracy. The department also says diplomatic engagements between Washington and the union buildings are ongoing. Let's discuss this now with research at the South African Center for Migration and Society, Professor Lauren Landau. He's also with the Oxford University, where he focuses on migration and development. Professor, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it. I wonder if we can just, before we start things off, we want to obviously try to get some confirmation with regards to, whether this is truly happening, whether it's not. And of course, there was the White House press briefing that took place just this week as well. And we just want to play that a little bit for our audience to get a clear sense of what was going on there. Answering questions then from journalists in the White House was Secretary Caroline Levitt. Let's listen to this.
The President has shown support for South African refugees that are coming to the United States next week. Can you talk about what these refugees are fleeing and why this is a priority for the administration?
Well, the President has actually signed an executive order on that matter. My office can get it back to you, Michael. But this group in South Africa has faced racial persecution. In fact, the government there has vowed to take away their farmland that they own. And so the President has talked significantly about this. As for further details on refugee claims and asylum claims, I would defer you to the State Department.
I wonder if I could get your thoughts on that, Professor Landau, just knowing the situation as it currently stands.
Right. I mean, as we know, this is going to happen. It seems that these people are scheduled to fly this coming week into Washington, D.C. This is clearly a fictitious kind of story, but it's an important story that the American president is telling himself. This has actually very little to do with South Africa and South Africa's empirical realities. It has to do with the U.S. president positioning himself as a savior of white privilege, of whiteness, of Christianity, and all over the world he is seeing the persecution, the fictitious persecution of white people, of Christian people, as something that he needs to stop. And this is really what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, because one wonders, a refugee, according to, and wait for it, this is the website, USA for UNHCR, right? The UN Refugee Agency, ultimately in the United States, says that a refugee is someone who has been forced to flee his or her country because of persecution, war, or violence. Can we say that either of those really applies to South Africa, and particularly the Afrikaner group in the country?
No, of course, refugee status is something individual states get to decide. So a state is free to grant that status to anyone they like. But it's very clear that
I'm gonna let him keep going in a second. But I want y'all to understand that the whites in South Africa still have power in South Africa. Don't get it twisted. They might have let Mandela out. They might have gave him the presidency at one time. But they are still a part of the government. There is a such thing as a white African. That's who Donald Trump wants to come to America. Let's dive into the why. The why is because of the think tanks. Number one, they stopped abortion. If you notice, nobody's talked about it anymore. It's really illegal to get an abortion in most places. That way they can get their numbers up. No more white babies being aborted. Number two, you got to bring in white blood. Even if it's white African blood, you got to bring in white blood. Europeans don't give a fuck. They don't want to come here. They cool in their country. White Africans, yeah, they want to come here. You try to take over Greenland, which is what? Majority of white. That way you could bring in a whole bunch of fresh white blood into the American population.
white South Africans do not face particular persecution, or even the language is a well-founded fear of persecution. They face many of the same problems that every South African faces: crime, unemployment, inequality, etc. But if you look at the stats, white South Africans are doing far better than almost everybody else in the country. The business.
I hope you guys learn something from this. I feel for you Hispanic brothers and sisters. At the end of the day, you had the right plan, but you voted for the wrong man. You should have voted for Kamala, because Kamala, it would have still been some deportation going on. That's never going to stop. But Kamala would have been more interested in uplifting more women. She would have been interested in more feminism. That's the reason I stayed out of this election. That's the reason why I haven't said too much about Donald Trump lately, unlike the last couple of elections, because I looked at it as, I'm not finna jump in bed with a devil to fight the demon. I'm not finna do that. It's either Kamala and feminism, and you could have stayed in this country, while the rest of us guys, we getting out of here, and we taking our resources with us. Fuck the communities. I got American dollars. I can go anywhere in the world and be good. So what I'm trying to say is, you picked the wrong man. I hope y'all get it. This is the Daily Read, and I'm out.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
Bring in the business.